one of the things we tend to think, the mind naturally thinks, well, I just won't care about stuff. But every teenager's tried that technique, and I'm on strike. and that can't be it somehow, because there's a dead quality to that. So there's a passionate entry into life when we're not trying to order life around. And I think I'm thinking of there's a couple of had a story of a friend who it actually there's a story about he was my book agent, and I don't know, we just became friends after a while. But he said, I had a nice note about this, but I can remember it. Oh, here it is, my nice note. And so he was driving up to Tahoe, and he had a reasonably new Volvo, and it overheated, so he diverged to Sacramento and dropped it off at some foreign car dealer, and went up, rented a car, and did what he was, more or less, did something more interesting than he was going to do, explored the neighborhoods. And then about a week later, an assistant brought the car to meet him. He lived down in the Bay Area, and so they drove it halfway to the old raceway. It used to be Sears Point. And the assistant said he needed to pay for it right away, but it was making very strange noises. As it was running, it was going clunk, clunk, thunk, whine. And he said, I don't know, I want a second opinion. And so he did this wonderful thing. There's a not picking and choosing thing. And the assistant had been told, you can't give him the car without him giving you the money. But he didn't want to give the money because he didn't think there was something wrong with the car. So he said this interesting thing, you're a good guy, just like a sympathetic thing. That's a hard problem you have. And then the assistant just gave him the car. But it wasn't a manipulation, it was just an appreciation of, he was hanging from a branch by his teeth, the assistant, you couldn't go forward or back. And so the assistant fulfilled the prognostication. He was indeed a good guy and drove off. And drove off in a rent-a-car. And then my friend took the car to a person who usually dealt with it in the Bay Area, and the person, said, well, a lot of work's been done on the car, and it's had the timing gear replaced and things like that. However, the problem was the thermostat, because it was overheating, and even though the dealer, the Mercedes dealer, who had worked on it, said he hadn't replaced the thermostat, and here's the broken thermostat. It was one of those great things, and so he just sent a note saying he wasn't going to pay for it, and then a few days later he gets a call from an attorney who starts yelling at him straight away, and so he just waits till the guy winds down and says, you can't get away with not paying for your work, blah, blah. And then he takes a breath, and my friend says, would you like to hear what happened? So again, you can tell it's not picking and choosing. He's just in it. He's flowing with it. I'd like to hear what happened. Silence. Okay. And then my friend tells him, and the guy said, then there's more silence. Then I hate it when clients lie to me. So it was rather fun. And so the whole thing is it's sort of like, tennis or something like that. It's just fun, And then the guy says, well, if you can't pay that, $3,500 order, could you pay $1,800? Could you pay half the bill? And he says, okay. I think, well, I would have needed timing gear sometime, and a few other things that were done, well, maybe maintenance. So he said, all right. So he began to write the check, but he just couldn't finish. He just couldn't make himself do it. And so he calls the attorney. He says, I was writing the check for $1,800, and a big black bear put his paw over my hand and wouldn't let me. So, not picking and choosing, see? No choice about that. And you see, you're listening to the Tao in some way. The big black bear was, not going to let him. And and so the attorney laughs and says, ask the bear how much he will let you pay. So he got a smart attorney. And so he asked the bear, and the bear says $800. And the attorney says, okay, send it to me and we'll be quits. That's an example of not picking and choosing, I think. So, the great way is not difficult. It just avoids picking and choosing.